Welcome back to Game On. So John, you ever wanted to play a game where you could change the outcome of a TV show?
Yes, actually. There's like how Beltorchica in Gundam Char's Counterattack was just completely like written out, and they brought in Chan, who like literally has no personality. Like she's just an engineer. And in Zeta Gundam, they've been setting up Beltorchica as like Amuro's girlfriend. Like she is the person that kind of gets him back, gets him over the death of Lala, and then like it's like this really great relationship, and then they just dump her, like nothing happened, like she's gone. Like they don't bring up an explanation for it, they just say that they bring in this random person, and like it's really weird. I don't like it. I wish I could change it.
Okay then, well now imagine that it doesn't really matter anyway, because the game's basically broken, and the developers haven't fixed it in a year.
That sounds like a really good game.
And you wanted to change, and what you wanted to change, it just didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Here's our review. Defiance. Sci-Fi is making a bold entry into the gaming world with their MMO, Defiance, based on the TV show of the same name. In the game, you're an Ark Hunter of either human, Castivan, or Arathian races. You've crashed into the territory of Paradise, what we know today as the San Francisco Bay Area, and are recruited to help the local residents stop the world from ending. You guessed it, again. The game means well, but falls short on many aspects. For one, the DLCs aren't the best. 4 out of the 5 planned DLCs have already been released, but they only have 2 hours of playability, if that. The main missions are pretty good, as one should hope so in, a full release game. The best being the last mission where you fight the final boss. But the rest of the missions aren't that hard to beat, and usually have the same mindless shoot-'em-up format. And side missions, are the biggest waste of time, since once you played through one of them, you've basically played through them all. And there are plenty of these side missions to do, but the fact that you do the same thing over and over and over again makes them boring and not even worth your time. One of the saving graces that this game has is the multiplayer, though. Shadow Wars, Capture and Hold, and Deathmatch are challenging, and playing missions with someone else makes playing those missions actually fun and exciting. And that would be fantastic if there were actually players to play with, and if the servers would hold up for more than 2 hours. The death blow to Defiance is that the Ark Hunters that used to frequent Paradise territory are now long gone, having leveled up too much to make the game hard. It was even that hard to begin with. Trion, the developers of the game, at first stated that the game would be cross-platform, and those that were on PC could play with people on the 360 or the PS3. The sad fact is the game cannot hold one console well, let alone 2 or 3. You can't play for more than 2 hours with the servers going critical on you. This is a major flaw that developers haven't fixed in the year or so this game has been out. All in all, don't expect to beat Defiance for long, or at all. We give Defiance for the PS3, 360, and PC a 3 out of 5. I mean 10. Because 3 out of 5 would be a good score, and this does not deserve a good score.
Yeah, people don't know that we're actually switching to a new review scale on a Game On. It's very, sometimes it's 3 out of 5, sometimes it's 3 out of 10. Like, it's kind of a, crapshoot.
Yeah, whatever we really want, the points don't really matter.
Yeah. It's like, our show is kind of like, whose line is it anyway? Where,
the opinions don't matter.
You're Drew Carey and I'm Wayne Brady.
Okay. Anyway, so what do you think about video game, TV, tie-ins?
I think it's weird.
Yeah?
I think it's cool that they're trying something like Defiance where somehow, some way, like the game is going to influence the show.
Yeah.
That sounds insane and impossible to me.
Right.
But I don't know, like there are video game show tie-ins that are good. Like I guess it's not really part of the show, but Walking Dead.
Well, there's two. There's two.
The adventure game,
there's
not Survival Instinct.
And there's the one actually licensed by the show, AMC, The Walking Dead, Survival Instinct, where you play as Daryl.
Yeah. So I guess really the one based on the show is Survival Instinct, and the one based on the comics is the adventure game. So I guess it turns out that there really aren't very many good TV game shows.
Yeah, but is it just because of these shows, or do you think like cartoons would actually be more able to be for this to be done, or even like what genres do you think could like work with this kind of setup where like the game?
You could do they've been doing movies forever, like movie tie-ins, and those are always weird. There's in like Japan, there's like billions of anime games because those are like you watch and you're watching a video game.
Yeah.
Like it's so just weird and out there. Like superhero, I think superheroes probably are the easiest to adapt.
Would you watch an Infamous show and like the things that you do in the game, like if enough people did it, would affect the
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
But speaking of Infamous, our next review is Infamous, Infamous Second Son. Here's our look. Let's get one thing out of the way first. Infamous Second Son is very different from previous Infamous games. Gone are the days of the electricity-throwing vigilante Cole McGrath. Infamous Second Son stars a new hero with new powers in a new city, powered by a brand new console. You play as Delson Rowe, a small-town delinquent who discovers he has extraordinary powers when he comes into contact with a conduit, or a person that can manipulate a certain form of matter unique to each conduit. Luckily for Delson, his power is the ability to absorb the power of other conduits, and use it to control multiple sets of abilities. The bad news is that the conduits are seen as bioterrorists, and Delson just became #1 on the government's hit list. After his native tribe is attacked due to his status as a conduit, Delson travels to Seattle with his brother to overthrow the dangerous government militia in place and set things right. The first thing you'll notice about Infamous Second Son is that it looks incredible. The game makes full use of the power of the PlayStation 4, showing off some of the best lighting in gaming today. The reflections of sunlight off of windows is unbelievable, and the way streetlights dance off of cars will make you check twice that you're not looking at a real car commercial. The characters also look great, being brought to life by believable acting and stellar motion capture. Gameplay-wise, the action is fast and responsive. Every power set brings something new to the table, although one of them feels a little bit better than the rest of them. The game is a bit on the short side, with the main story playthrough only taking about 8 hours, but there's plenty of side content and collectibles that'll have you scrambling up and down Seattle for hours. Despite these minor gripes, Infamous Second Son is a fantastic experience, and the first heavy hitter for the PlayStation 4. We give Infamous Second Son 8.5 beanies out of 10. I really liked Infamous.
Yeah?
I thought it was awesome.
I mean, that franchise has just been solid throughout, like as I don't have a PS3, so I haven't played it, but as much as I heard from it, nobody has ever had a bad thing to say about it.
It's kind of hard to like make the jump from one console generation to the next. Like Halo did it really well between
Xbox,
Halo 2 and Halo 3, right?
Yeah, it was Halo 1 was Xbox, Halo 2 was Xbox, and then Halo 3 was Xbox 360. And that was a good kind of switch.
Yeah. A lot of series, they mess it up, like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy
does not.
I don't think there's been a good Final Fantasy game
since 10, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, people liked 12. I didn't really like it that much.
12 was fine.
10 was like the game, and then they just couldn't get it to work.
11 was an MMO that failed like instantly. 12 was average, so it was bad for a Final Fantasy game. And then 13, oh man.
Yeah, they couldn't get it to work. Like that kind of thing to work on like next-gen consoles.
So all this talk about sequels and next-gen is great, but there's also a large community centered around lo-fi independent games. So when we get back, we'll be talking with Ray Saker about pixel piracy.